Hello Facebook, Women Raising Vibration Group. I am just doing a quick live before I wait for Aldwyn to come on board. We're starting our free webinar at midday. So I would love for you to join, because there's a lot of you with amazing businesses and you need perhaps a little bit of help with your PR in getting your name and your passion out there. So I'd be really keen to share this information with you. It is a free webinar. Aldwyn provides amazing amount of value, and she's incredibly generous, and she's fun, and she is flamboyant, and she has a really great heart. So I really feel very passionate about sharing her message with you. She will provide you with value, and at the end there is a freebie as well. So you'll, yes. So Hi Kellyanne, hi Brianna, hi Kylie, and hi Jasmine. This is one of those webinars where it is, you know, probably more for the business people who are wanting to promote their business. If you're an author, if you want to do some self-promotion work, it really is worth your time clicking on the link and joining in the webinar. If you can't make it today, that's also okay. Because if you click and pre-register, we will make sure that you then get the email afterwards and you'll be able to watch that live webinar later and at your own discretion, and you can be able to pause and take some information in and also be included in that freebie at the end. So love for you to all join us, and we will see you soon. It starts at midday, so I'll put the link up on the, so messages are flying in at the moment. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description, and it is a free webinar. You've got nothing to lose. Even if you don't watch it for a week or two, you will still have access to it, and you will want to watch this one, because who doesn't like the idea of $1 million worth of free publicity? I think that we could all do that for our businesses, for our charities, for our passions, for our meetups, for our books, for our products, for our services. So this really would appeal to a very broad amount of people within this group. Hope to see you there. If not there, please watch it later. It's for you. Good morning, Facebook. I go live with my free webinar in about 10 minutes time. It's midday Queensland time. It's a free webinar, and today's webinar is with Aldwyn Altuney, and she is known as the media queen. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk tips and tricks how to gain $1 million worth of publicity for free. Now, who wouldn't like that? If you are running a business, if you are selling goods, or you're providing a service, or perhaps you have a beautiful passion in life and you want to share your gorgeous message, perhaps you're an author or you have a charity, this webinar is for you, and I would hate for you to miss out. I would love for you to join us. You can either join us live now, or if you pre-register, you will be sent a link with the recording tomorrow to watch at your leisure, and you can take notes. Aldwyn is fun and fabulous and flamboyant as ever, and she is also incredibly generous. So not only is she giving us her time for free, she's also offering a freebie at the end of it, so you will remember how to do some of this stuff. So please do not be shy. I would love for you to join us. If not now, then in the recording afterwards. We will see you soon. I'll put the link in the description above. Speak to you soon. Okay, hi Aldwyn, I'm going to put your camera on. Okay. Okay, Aldwyn, I've got you now. Okay, it's just frozen a bit.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. There's a bit of a lag with the.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. There's a lag with. There's no. I've just got a still shot of you. Take a photo of it. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
That's great.
Okay. I think I'm buffering off my. Oh, you can hear me all right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's a bit of a. Are you there again?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Otherwise I can. You can hear me or no?
I can hear you, but your vision has gone.
Not good connection?
No.
Ah, okay. It might not be good. It might not be a good spot
yeah.
where I am because I'm.
Okay.
I can move to somewhere outside if you like.
Yeah.
Which will take me a few minutes.
Okay. So Aldwyn, what's happening here on this end is there's a bit of a lag. I wish I could video it because there's no sound, but you're going in fast forward and then you're going in slow pace. And then suddenly sound catches up. So it's very comic on this end.
Okay, I'm in a high-rise building, so maybe if I go outside, it might be better. I can try that.
Okay,
if you like.
This is connected now. So let's see how we go with this.
Okay, so as long as you can hear me, can you hear me?
I can hear you. There is a delay between your lips and the sound. So
right.
That might make it a little bit dodgy. But
right. So Julie's saying it's okay on her end. I'm just seeing in the chat.
Yes, it's just every now and again just clicks in and catches up on this end. So if Julie says it's okay, brilliant, because that's the main thing, is that everyone else can see that it's good.
Okay.
Okay, super. So I've got hi Julie,
all
hi
right.
Hamilton. I've got Lara's iPhone as well. I've got Anna coming on board. And what we will do is I'll put everyone on mute. And actually, you know what I might do is I might just put I'll put everyone's video on. So if you want to give a little bit of a wave and we'll just sort of, it's going to be like,
hello.
Okay. Julie, so someone's making a okay.
It is making a funny sound.
Yes, we'll keep everyone on mute, but I'm going to put your cameras on for a little while now so that if you wish to give Aldwyn a wave and just sort of, we can see, it's almost like, what I love about this is that it's kind of like we're all having a tea party together. I got my cup of tea, and we're all just sitting around a table having a lovely conversation, a lovely chat. I can see, yep, we've all cheers. It's kind of a bit like that. And usually I do these webinars with my glasses off, but it's become extremely difficult to read the tiny writing. So I can see there's a little bit of a reflection. So I will, if I don't need to read anything, I'll take the glasses off again. So we've got about 2 minutes to go, Aldwyn. So I think we're doing well for sound check, well for lighting. That's great. And have you got your VA on board to put any links up for us later?
Oh. No, I will do that now.
Yes. So that just might be easy if she is able to, and then anything you mentioned, she can put the link to that.
Okay. All right, I'll just get on. I'll just see if it might be better if I just move a little bit in this room. let me just see if it's any better if I'm here. Is this any better over this side?
The sound is clearer on this end. Hi, Katie.
It's clear over this side. So it could just be a dodgy room I'm in, because I'm in this high rise here. I'll just move over. Moving right along. Okay, let's try this. Is that any better over here?
That's great. That's great.
Okay, so maybe it was just a dodgy dead spot area in the room.
We get those. We really do. So we're just letting everyone just sort of trickle in, and while you're all trickling in, just to let you know, we're just doing a little bit of a sound check with Aldwyn. It's been a big morning for, she's come out of her meeting. She's going to grace us with her presence, give us all her beautiful wisdom and fun and fabulousness, and then she's going to return back into her meeting. So we're just making sure that everything's good to go this end before we start. So, and I'm just putting everyone onto mute as you come in, and then that way we're not going to disturb anyone. So the only person you're going to be hearing is Aldwyn and me, and my end, unfortunately, I do have 3 dogs sitting at my feet, so I always sit here and I'm always torn between whether I lock them outside and have them scratching at the door wanting to come in, or having them sitting at my feet. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So people are starting to enter, and we've got quite a few who've actually joined up. So, but mostly, you know, to come during the day and to do this live is a difficult thing, because we don't always have that hour in the middle of the day to stop and, you know, sort of learn something new or watch a screen. So we're just waiting. Aldwyn's just getting in contact with her assistant.
Yes, I just messaged her.
There's going to be an opportunity. Aldwyn's going to, as she's talking about things, instead of us trying to spell things out to you where to find it, her beautiful assistant's going to possibly just put the link up there, and we'll do it that way. So, well, when your assistants come on board, we will start. Or do you want to start, Aldwyn, and she'll come on board when she's ready?
I think we just start, because I've just messaged her, and so
and she can put those links in the chat box at any time. People don't have to have it immediately as you say something, so that'll work.
Yes.
Now,
great.
Okay, so it's 2 minutes past 1 on my end, so I'm going to give it a good start. So we might start here. Hello and welcome, ladies. I am incredibly excited. I have waited a very long time to get Aldwyn as one of my guests on our webinars. I think I booked her in about 6 months ago. And so it has every month, I'm like, I'm 1 month closer, I'm 1 month closer, because you've got some information that I think that my tribe is going to absolutely love and adore. And not only are they going to love and adore your information, but I do believe they're going to love and adore you. There's something about you when I met you, there's a lot, you're fun and you're flamboyant and you're honest and you're transparent. And I really, really honor and appreciate, they're some of my top values. And so it's kind of this moment of magic where we come in alignment and you get to share all your wisdom. So everybody, I'm introducing you now to Aldwyn Altuney, and she will tell you just a little bit about, you know, her business. And then I get to ask a few more questions, and then we will dive into some of the exploration of all that beautiful information. Hi, Aldwyn.
Hello, Taryn. Thank you so much for those lovely comments. It's very sweet. And you are certainly fun and flamboyant yourself, I must say. So it takes one to know one. It's interesting that we are drawn to people who are like us. And I really appreciate being on this webinar with you and with your lovely people. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone who is on this call. I always say you are in the right place at the right time. Everything is meant to be as it unfolds. And we are currently actually in Mercury retrograde at the moment, Taryn. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Absolutely. And, you know, usually, and that's, you know, I have planned all my other webinars outside of Mercury retrograde, except for this one.
So up until November 20.
The panic.
Yes, yes. Look, sometimes it feels in Mercury retrograde that you take one step forward, two steps back. And, you know, business is one of the most challenging things you'll ever do. And to be able to ride the roller coaster of life, as I call it, you know, to be able to deal with whatever life throws at you, whether it's tech issues or whether it's whatever challenges, you know, to be able to ride that gracefully and to look at all challenges as opportunities is really important, I think. And, you know, part of why I do what I do is I'm passionate about helping to lift people's spirits in the world. You know, I have worked in the media for 35 years as a journalist, and a photojournalist actually is my trade. And I've worked in TV, radio, print, and as a lot of you may know, a lot of media is very negative, particularly when you're listening to mainstream news, right? A lot of media can be very negative. And if you're just watching constant negative news, or CNN, as some people call it, if you're watching that every day, you can get quite depressed, right? And in fact, science has shown, studies have shown that if you continually watch negative news, that it will impact your state of mind. It will impact, you know, your anxiety levels. It can lead to depression. And I've personally had depression over the years. I've actually had 4 friends take their own lives, and there's about 1 million people worldwide who actually take their own lives, which is absolutely tragic. So something I'm really passionate about is getting more good news stories out in the mass media. And while we may not see it a lot with headline news, there actually is a lot of positive news out there. It's just generally not the headline news, right? So we have actually Good News Network now. We have Huffington Post and MSN all have good news sections now. So there's a whole lot of good news happening. There is a good news movement out there. And what I'm out to do is to help people hop on board with that and to help promote more good news and spread more good news to lift people's spirits, because I think that's what the world really needs now is hope and inspiration and with what they do.
You know, and Aldwyn, this is the one thing, well, this is 3 things. When I discovered you, and I was just like, oh my Lord, this woman is speaking to my absolute heart, because I want to flood my Facebook feed with good stuff. And so, and make people understand that you can actually choose what you are allowing to come into your conscious and unconscious mind. And so
yes,
the very essence of what you're doing is totally in alignment. And I'm so thrilled that there is somebody out there who's actually using their powers, because you do have amazing power, for good.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, I created a Good News Day last year on the 8th of the 8th, 18, anyone into numerology. I thought that was a great day. It's all about abundance, prosperity. And, you know, it's not about saying that there's no negative news out there or there's no challenges out there. It's saying, well, okay, this stuff is happening. How can we look at the positives that people are doing about it? How can we look and celebrate the good things people are doing that are helping to lift people's spirits? And how can we help to, you know, combat or overcome some of those, you know, darker forces out there, whether they're darker forces internally or externally. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, social media messaging being so positive all the time, right? Well, I mean, you know, you can go to extremes one way or the other. It's a matter of being realistic. But just don't let those negative things consume you, and don't think that the whole world is negative, because it certainly isn't. And there's a lot of positivity and inspiration we can share with the world. And in fact, you know, you have an amazing story to share. Everyone has an amazing story to share, and not enough people feel confident enough to get their message out there. And that's part of what I do, is help people share their message, to get clear on what are the gems of their story, and to help share that with the world. So that's, you know, a lot of people, when they die with the whole library, you know, gone, basically, if they don't share their story. So, you know, while life is so short, I mean, just this week, a good dear friend of mine, Jenny Gorman, passed away. And I just heard as well, another friend passed away of cancer in his early 50s. Like, it's just tragic. You know, the older you get, the more you see people dying around you, the more you realize how fragile life is and how important it is to pursue your dreams and do what you love, and, you know, live life with passion, and because it's too short not to, right? Why would you want to be doing something that you don't enjoy over something you do enjoy when life is so short? So,
well, certainly when you started speaking about what you do and how you help people, I was just covered in goosies from the top of my head to the tip of my toes.
Oh.
And, when I speak to people about, when we get those goosies, it means that my body is reacting to the truth in your words. And I don't get to choose when those goosies arrive or how long they last for. But energetically, I'm responding to the truth in your words. And not only do you spread that beautiful message and help people to help themselves, but you actually help creatures that can't speak for themselves. And you're a great advocate for animals. Tell us more about that.
That's true. That's true. These are goosies of a different kind. Yeah, I am a very big animal activist. I love animals, and I actually started the world's first Animal Action Day in 2007 after years of seeing animal cruelty, and I thought I want to do something to make a difference. And I thought I'll put on an event and I'll inspire people to just take some action for animals, whether it's signing a petition against whaling, whether it's turning vegan. And I'm not a fanatic vegan, but some people are really fanatic with that. It's about shopping cruelty free. Right, and being conscious about what we are supporting. Even horse racing, I don't support horse racing anymore. After looking into what goes on in the industry, for example, so many more people are now boycotting horse racing. So if we don't put our money into these things, eventually, people will start to notice. The people that run these things will start to pay attention to that. So I started the world's first Animal Action Day to raise awareness, appreciation and respect for animals. The very first event in 2007 on the Gold Coast, we had about 30 performers and speakers. We've had lots and lots, like millions of dollars worth of media coverage for the different animal events. And we just had our 13th annual event in October, which is phenomenal, a month ago. And we did a fundraiser this year for Land of the Free, which is a cause to help stop trophy hunting of endangered animals like lions and bears, etc. So each year I've chosen a different animal cause. The first 7 years were day events, they were free events, and in the last 5 years I've done night events, and I've focused on different animals every year. So we had a fundraiser for orangutans, we did one for elephants, we did one for horses, and this year of course it was the big cats. So whales with sea shepherds. So I just pick a different charity, different animal to raise awareness about. We have a few speakers, a few performers. It's about celebrating animals' lives, and it's amazing when we connect with animals and connect with nature. It is amazing how we get how amazing the world is and how amazing we are, because we're all connected, right? And nowadays with technology, etc., with people being addicted to their mobiles, in some ways we're more connected than ever before. In other ways we are more disconnected than ever before. And I think just grounding yourself and getting in amongst nature and appreciating the birds and the animals around us is just a magnificent gift that we have. And often, too often people go into negative states rather than being in a gratitude state or being in a grateful state. And the more grateful you are in life, the more you will attract abundance into your life. And so that's something I did to help animals. I thought, well, if everyone just does something rather than thinking, gee, this is such a big thing, how can I deal with animal cruelty? Well, one person at a time, one action at a time, we can make a difference. Just by sharing something that you've seen that can inspire people. It's amazing. If everyone just on this webinar now shared something inspiring about animals, imagine the number of people we could reach. We could probably reach hundreds of thousands of people just with our own social media networks, and we often don't think about that. We don't think about the reach and the impact we can have. So yes, I'm very passionate about animals, and I love animals. I'm very empathic when it comes to other creatures like goosies.
And I think you're really speaking my language, and this is where I talk about you're doing your power, using your power for good, because you are helping people perfect their pitch and their message, but you're also helping those that can't help themselves. And certainly with all your skills and your 35 years of experience, you're taking that and you're directing it and channeling it into something. So not only are you making a difference, but you're inspiring other people to join you on that journey. And as you rise up, you're getting other people to rise with you. And
absolutely,
I think that's just where my love affair with you started.
Oh, thank you, Taryn. Well, I love you too. I love what you do. Thank you so much.
And I'm sure that, everyone who's listening, and certainly the people that absolutely know me, can really feel the energy of why this one in November was so important for me, because it really feels so aligned. But moving right on, I'm sure that everyone here has been sitting on the edge of their seat, dying to know. I mean, that's a really big tagline, isn't it? Like, how,
Yes.
like $1 million, like that just blows my mind, because I know that if you do any advertisement on something, how expensive advertising can be. And the idea that you can get $1 million worth of publicity is like, how? Tell me how.
Yes, I will be going through some steps as much as I can cover in about 45 minutes left on this call. I will cover some fantastic tips for you that that hopefully will help inspire you and see that actually, even though $1 million does sound like a lot, it's actually not that hard to do once you know how to do it. So,
and
yes,
that's amazing. So, shall we dive straight into it? Now, I wasn't sure.
Sure.
Yes. Great.
Now, so I just share my screen here.
Fabulous.
Let's see. Oh, share again. Okay, it's saying something about install and install something. Zoom scheduler. All right, I'll just have to do this now. Here we go. Okay. All right, let's just see. All right, so I just need to add this extension, which I thought I had already installed. Okay, let's see, share screen.
I'm sure if we've waited till November to hear you speak, we can wait a few minutes for you to install that. We can all be a little bit patient.
Last time I did a Zoom.
I think
yes,
while Aldwyn's doing that, I'll just sort of
explain.
If
anyone has any questions at this stage.
Does anyone have any questions at this stage for Aldwyn? I know that we've only just started, but if you do, pop them in the chat box and we'll scroll through and we'll start addressing them while Aldwyn does that. Oh, she started her screen sharing.
Now, let's see what happens here. Start the, okay. Can we see this okay?
Okay.
Oh, can you see that all right? Oh, there we go.
Here we go. Great.
Can you see that?
And I'm going to take my camera off so I'm not distracting everyone while you're speaking. Oh.
Okay. So that's, can you see that okay?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, fantastic. Here we go. All right, welcome to the How to Gain $1 Million worth of free publicity webinar. I am known as the Media Queen. You might be wondering why. Well, firstly, it's a lot easier to say than Aldwyn Altuney, which is is a very unique name. I have Greek, Turkish, and Ukrainian blood, and Aldwyn has a Welsh name, so I have quite a mixture there. And I have also got 35 years media experience, which does sound like a lot, particularly since I look about 25. I know.
You do.
I know. I look about. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm actually 45, and I'll cover a little bit more background as we go through today. So, all right. Oh, here we go. Okay, so now just imagine what would happen to your business or yourself if you appeared on Sunrise or in the Women's Weekly tomorrow. What would happen? I'd love to hear some of your responses in the chat. We'll come to your chat at the end of this webinar. If we have time for Q&A, I'd love to have a look at those. Or what if Oprah's office called you and asked if you could be available for a show? Imagine what would happen. Well, everything you do or say is public relations. So using the media effectively, it's one of the fastest ways you can accelerate your sales in business, and it's absolutely free. So if you're frustrated now about how much money you've been spending on advertising over the years or how hard it is to be seen and heard, particularly with all the noise out there nowadays, then using publicity is one of the best ways you can cut through that. So why else for publicity? Well, you can target your message to your ideal clients, because there's certain publications and certain radio shows and certain TV shows that will have your ideal clients and that will be looking for people to speak on your topic. You also get credibility and trust. Now, this is huge, particularly in the online world. A lot of people have got online businesses. Now, trust is huge because there's so many scammers out there, as we know. And if you want to leverage yourself, if you feel time poor at all, you want to leverage yourself, then the media is a fantastic way. You can do the work once and get your message out to hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of people. Also influence, you'll have more influence in your industry and more confidence in what you do. So for a moment here, if you just think about your industry right now, who is known as the expert in your industry? And just pop someone in the chat who comes to mind. So for example, in personal development, I think of Anthony Robbins. In the health field, I think of Michelle Bridges. So think about your field right now, and can you think of who is known as the expert in your industry? I think of Noel Whittaker in the finance area. So who is known as the expert, as the #1 top dog out there in your industry? So just pop that into the chat and we'll have a look at those at the end. Also, you can increase your business and cash flow like never before as well. It's a fantastic thing you can just switch on or off at any point with your publicity and gain a whole lot of new clients and charge more for what you do as well. Now, publicity is extremely powerful. Now, news coverage by a trusted third-party authority like a journalist is actually worth 3 to 8 times more in value than advertising. So today we've said how to gain over $1 million worth of free publicity. Well, if we say 3 to 8 times more in value than advertising, there's a whole lot of online sources that will state these facts. Then let's just say for today, for purposes of today, we'll just times it by 5 to leave a round figure for us so we can get our head around the $1 million worth of free publicity. So for example, if a half-page ad in a local paper costs $2,000, then a half-page news story is valued at, say, times 5 is $10,000 worth of value for a half-page news story where a journalist has written about you as opposed to taking out an ad. Now let's look at the cost of advertising in Australia. Now Taryn was talking about how expensive it can be for advertising. Absolutely, this is what we're looking at in Australia alone. $25,000 for a 30-second ad is what people are paying for high-rating shows in Australia. For radio, a 60-second spot, just one 60-second spot is $500. And a lot of people don't just do one spot, they will do several spots. We're talking thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Magazines, $4,000 per page is what people are paying just for advertising. Newspapers, for a full page ad in a newspaper in Australia, you pay about $10,000. You've probably seen those wraparound ads where the ad goes right around the whole outside of the newspaper. That happens a lot with the weekly papers. That's $100,000 people are paying for that kind of advertising. And yellow pages, for anyone who still does yellow pages, $30,000 up to $100,000 per page ad is what people are paying. And then there's digital advertising or Facebook advertising. I mean, you know, whoever's doing Facebook advertising, you know, I'd love to see if you're doing Facebook advertising, watching this now, how well is it working for you? Most people I ask that question to when I ask rooms of people, there's only about a quarter of the people that will put their hand up and say that Facebook advertising is working really well for them. So again, you can be throwing a lot of money down the drain with advertising and not reaching the people you'd like or have the same kind of credibility that you would like either with your Facebook ads or your Instagram ads or even YouTube ads, you know, any sort of digital advertising. So you can stop burning your money right now. We don't want you to end up stressed like these people on the left here, okay, because you'll just end up living a shorter life, all right? We don't want that for you. We want you to have long, happy lives. Now imagine what you could have done with that money. Now you could have had some beautiful family time. You could have gone traveling. Now I did mention that I am an animal lover, so there may be some animals in this presentation. I would just like to say no animals were harmed in the production of this presentation, okay? So I'll just get that disclosure out there, okay? So there's, imagine what you could do. You could have family time, travel. Now story views versus ad views too. Stories are viewed 22 times more than ads. Now we just mentioned how much money people are spending on advertising and 22 times more eyeballs are looking at stories versus ads. So another reason to stop wasting money on advertising. Now, I asked you who is known as the top dog in your industry up till now. Now, the good news is for you guys is that even if there's somebody else like Tony Robbins or Michelle Bridges who's known as the top dog in your industry, you could still be among the top 3 experts in your industry because media, someone please mute, we've got a background conversation. Yeah. So you can be known as one of the top 3 experts in your industry because media, if they can't reach the Michelle Bridges or Tony Robbins of the world, they will go to the 2nd expert on the book or the 3rd expert on the book. And in fact, local media will be looking for a local expert. So you will even be able to be known as the first expert if you're in your local area and targeting local media. So there's still a lot of room for you to be known out there as the expert in your industry. Who wants to build a community or a tribe? And that should be all of you if you're in business, or if you want to just even share your message with people and leave a legacy, then this is for you today. So it's time to step up. There's the Media Queen branding again. Now, one way to stand out is actually to think about your branding, right? So now Media Queen is a very simple brand. It's a nice, happy representation of me, because really I'm known for my big smile and my big hair and my big nose, according to this caricature. But it's not that big actually. But you know, you've got to be able to laugh at you. So you've got to be able to have some fun, I think, in business nowadays. I think too many people are just way too serious, and it's important to step up. And that's what I help people do, is I help people step up with their message. And actually allow yourself to break through that glass ceiling that we have in Australia. So many people are afraid to step up with their message. And the fact is that just by being alive, if you had any hardship whatsoever, which I know would be everyone here, then you have a great story just there with how you've overcome that hardship. You know, what are some of the lessons you've learned, etc. There's always a light opposing the darkness at any point, right? And at the end of any breakdown, there's always a breakthrough as well. So it's a matter of recognizing what are the lessons that you've learned in some of those breakdowns and those hard periods in your life, and how can you turn them into positives and use them to benefit when you're putting your story out there. Now, I mentioned I've got 35 years media experience. Now, that's because I was actually a top junior table tennis player at a very young age. I was a very ambitious young child, and I was in the media at age 10. And this is actually the first story in the Manly Daily in Sydney, the Northern Beaches area of Sydney, where I featured there. And then at age 11, I had my first media training, and I was sponsored by MLC Junior Sports Foundation alongside Joanna Griggs and Jeff Hugel and a whole lot of other young elite athletes. And we had our first TV training at age 11 at Narrabeen Sports Centre. And interestingly, just in the last week, I was launching a science fiction book series and film series called Almithia in the Hunter Valley. And it was the first time in 34 years that I'd seen Joanna Griggs, and we emceed this event together in the Hunter Valley in Spices Resort. Right next to Tyrrell's Winery, if anyone knows that area. And it's just unbelievable. 34 years later, I come back around and I see Joanna Griggs, and now we're emceeing an event together. It's quite a phenomenal thing. And of course, she's the host of Better Homes and Gardens. She's covered 6 Olympics now as a TV presenter for Channel 7. So she's gone on and done some phenomenal stuff. And her mum was my Year 6 teacher. So there you go, a bit of trivia for you. And then I went on and I did a media degree at Canberra University. She did my first radio show at age 13. So I was just fascinated by the media from a very young age. And I edited the university newspaper and went on and worked with APN News Limited newspapers mainly. I've worked with magazines, radio, hosted a lot of radio shows, and I've done some TV work as well. And nowadays with the animal action events I mentioned, on the right here, you'll see a snapshot from a Channel 9 interview with Tyson Cottrell, and that's when we were doing a fundraiser for Sea Shepherd, and talking about how with Sea Shepherd it cost them $50 million just in fuel alone to go and help save the whales off Australia's coast from the Japanese whaling boats. And the Japanese in that particular year said that they weren't going to be whaling off Australian shores, and they still were. So that was a really strong story at that time. The bottom photo there, that is from ABC Radio Studios with a guy called Herb Armstrong, who's actually the grandson of Louis Armstrong, the legendary Louis Armstrong, Herb's from Brisbane. We're based in Brisbane now. He's from America originally. And he came along and performed at one of the Animal Action Day events. So that's a snapshot there, which I do recommend you do once you get your media coverage, get these kind of snapshots so you can use it in your online marketing as well. Nowadays, I also host a lot of online shows. I've got Media Queen TV on YouTube, and I have a whole lot of different shows within that. Business show, health, I do interviews with performers. I do one on truth because I was sick of the mass media lies out there that were happening. So it's about exposing the truth and having people be authentic with their messaging. Media Mastery Show is marketing tips. Animal Action TV, I do a fun little movie review show, and Travel Expose TV is one I'm launching soon. And Tech Webcast is a podcast that I co-host, and that's been going for about 8 years. We've had about 1 million downloads now with that show over that time. And, this is the exciting world of media now, is that no longer are we controlled with our messaging with just a few big media outlets. Now we have social media, we have a whole lot of online news channels, the mass media world, that we can really spread our message far and wide. So there's a lot more opportunity now than ever before to get your message out there. I've contributed for a lot of magazines as well. This is just some of the Newland magazine. This is just some of the media that I've either appeared in or done shows in. So the strategies I'll show you today will work for any media, no matter where you are in the world. These are some of the magazines that I've either freelanced for. M Magazine in South Africa, Jetstar Magazine, it's based in Singapore. XL Magazine was based in Singapore, went out to 25 countries. So all those mastheads I've worked for. And I started my own business in 2002. I started AA Expose Media. And this is some of the companies I've worked with. So I've worked with small and large companies, and no matter how small or large your business is, there'll be a fantastic story that you can share with the media. You don't have to have everything handled to be able to get your message out there. You don't have to know everything about your topic. If you know 10% more than someone else, then you can teach it and you can put yourself out there as an expert. And the fact is, you all have a unique story. You have a unique story, which is your X factor story that nobody else has. And the media are always looking for great stories. So it's a great opportunity for you. Now, I've interviewed a whole lot of stars too. This is some of the stars I've interviewed over time. And last year I interviewed Charlie Sheen and Jewel in LA on stage in front of 2,500 people from 76 countries. It was quite a big deal. Now, there's a few things all these people have in common. The first thing is that they were once the world's best kept secret. Are you feeling like that right now? Do you feel like you are the world's best kept secret? Well, if you do, you're not alone, because all of these celebrities at one point were the world's best kept secret. And now they're known as stars. And that's the journey that I help my clients through, is going from world's best kept secret to being a star. Now, you may not want to be as big a star as some of these people here that we're seeing on the screen. You may just want to be a star in your industry. You might want to be known as an expert in your industry so that you can charge more and leverage what you do and work smarter, not harder. That may be you. Now, the other thing all these people have in common is they're really passionate about what they do. So with yourself, are you really passionate about what you do? The third thing they all have in common, and someone said it's taking cocaine, and that's probably Charlie Sheen. Now, I don't think they all take cocaine, but the third thing they all have in common is they have somebody else representing them in the media. So they all have a manager or a PR agent, etc., that represents them. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but if you do have someone else representing you to the media, it does make you look better than you contacting media yourself and saying, I'm amazing. And then the fourth thing they all have in common is that they have hardened themselves to criticism. Now, if you're going to step up and put yourself out there in any way, there's going to be times that people are going to put you down and they're going to be jealous, and you need to be able to stand strong in your truth so that kind of stuff does not shake you, right? If you stand strong enough in your truth, it doesn't matter what other people say. As they say, what other people say is none of my business, right? So it's none of your business what other people say about you. The thing is to stand in your own truth and spread your message as you want to spread it. So there are a few things they all have in common, and you could be famous like them or in your industry. So when we say media, what do we mean? Well, when I say media, we're talking about communication mediums like TV, newspapers, radio, and magazines used to influence people widely. So it's actually a medium. So also other media, of course, is social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. That's all other online social media now. And then we have podcasts, we have a whole lot of online news channels as well, or mediums. Whereas publicity, I'm talking about today, it's actually giving someone a reason to talk about you. So this is actually the process today I'm going to talk about of attracting public attention, whether it's to a person, a group, an event, or a product through the mass media. So it's the process of attracting public attention. The media needs your story. This is good news for you. Every day they need ideas for new stories. Now, when I worked at the Gold Coast Bulletin as a journalist, I worked there as a sub-editor as well. Every single day there'd be 2 editorial meetings. There'd be one at 10 a.m. and one at 2 p.m. And the editor would say to the top journalists, okay, what stories have you got for us today? And every single day, Monday to Saturday, we would have to come up with 3 story ideas of people in the local area, as in the Gold Coast region, who were doing great things. or who had a great story to share. And let me tell you, that was a very challenging thing sometimes, because, you know, while we might get 500 press releases a day, a lot of them were just not relevant and were not newsworthy. So if you know how to package up your story in a newsworthy manner and present it in a way that's going to appeal to journalists, then they are going to be more likely to do stories with you, and also to call you back next time they need an expert in your area. They need new stories every single day. The opportunity is huge for you. You saw how many media outlets there were earlier that I covered. Oh no, you haven't seen that yet. That's coming up. That's coming up. There's thousands of media outlets that you can get your story out to, just in Australia alone, let alone overseas. Now, also, there's more people going online with their stories, so there's an increasing gap now that needs filling. And they're really busy. Journalists are so busy, you have no idea. I mean, there's actually a 5-year burnout of journalists nowadays. That's how they're flat out, they get stressed out. So the easier you can make it for them with your media, the more they're going to absolutely love you, and they'll come back to you looking for stories. There's 3 keys to profit from publicity that I'll cover today in the short time we have together, because I can talk all day about this topic. And in fact, I do sometimes talk all day about this topic. But for today, we'll cover 3 keys to profit from publicity. So are you ready? Are you ready? Steady and go. Okay, the first is product, your PR campaign. This is the foundation of your PR campaign. What product or service do you want to promote or sell? Now, it's important to brainstorm a whole lot of ideas around this. And it's important when you pitch to journalists, it's important that it's non-commercial, what you're pitching, okay? So you need to make sure it's newsworthy, not commercial. Otherwise, they'll say, take out an ad. And then what's your story? What is unique about you, your story? What is your story? So for example, Stephen Esser is the guy I worked with. Now he's known as the webinar guy. And when we went out to media with him, now he'd actually approached a few other PR agents who weren't able to do anything for him. And I sat down with Steve and we went through a few different angles for his story. And we found there were 3 different angles that we could pitch to different media for his story. Now, the first is that he was doing a free event across Australia and New Zealand to help offline businesses go online. So that was the first angle. The second angle is that 5 years previously, he was a panel beater in a heavy metal band in the western suburbs area of Sydney. And now 5 years on, he's a multi-millionaire doing webinars. Well, how exactly did he do that? And the third angle for him was that he created some software which enabled you to automate webinars. And so that was a technology angle. So we had 3 fantastic angles that we could go out to media with for Stephen. Now, the media can be overwhelming. Do you feel a bit like this sometimes? Like, where the hell do I go with all my media? And sometimes you think of your story, you think you like this, right? And you go like, oh my goodness, where do I even start with my story, right? And the thing is, sometimes we're too close to our own story to actually see what the gems of our story are. And I guarantee you that you will have several stories, not just one great story. You will have several stories with what you do and how you've overcome obstacles, or how you do life, or what's unique about you. There you are going, listen to me, right? Listen to me. And that's even more why free publicity is so powerful, because you really do stand out from the crowd with publicity. Sometimes with social media world, it can feel a little bit like this, right? Sometimes there's the one Tweety bird on the end saying chirp, chirp. The one in the middle is coming out with a whole lot of social media language like at, lol, hashtag, etc. And the one on the end is saying, what the fudge? What the fudge are you talking about, right? You may feel like there's a little Tweety bird on the end sometimes, like, what the fudge? What is all this? What is this all about? Now, the thing is only 15 years ago, social media started, roughly, right? So it's only been 15 years, and now there's nearly 3 billion active social media users in the world. That's nearly half of the total population of the world. So there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. So nearly 3 billion, about half of them are active social media users. And about 2.4 billion of those are just on Facebook alone. Now, while the social media world can seem incredibly overwhelming, the good news is for you is that when it comes to getting a story onto TV or radio or print, you actually need to present the story in a
Aldwyn,
way.
I don't know if you've disappeared on everyone's chat, but
so the way a 14-year-old, okay, can you see the bird picture?
Yes, we just lost you for a minute.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was just a phone call came in. Even though I've got Do Not Disturb on my phone, I had a phone call come in which disturbed the internet, which I'm buffering from my phone. So apologies about that. Do Not Disturb, I thought stopped phone calls coming in. maybe not during Mercury retrograde. Apologies about that. Okay, so back again. So what I was saying there is when you pitch to TV, radio or print, you need to present a story in a way that a 14-year-old can understand your story. So you don't need all this jargon. In fact, it's very important not to have jargon in there that people don't understand. So keep your messaging very simple for media. Now, the first thing you want to do here is you want to package it up. Once you have some ideas on some different angles and some different parts of your story, you need a press release, you need photos or visuals, and you need to pitch it effectively. Okay, these are the 3 crucial steps within this section. Press release, photos and pitch. Photos or visuals and pitch. Now you can get media without a press release. However, if you do, you increase your chances of journalists getting facts wrong, right? If you have a press release, not only are they going to love you because you've pretty much written the story for them, they can also easily see what's going on with your story. Whereas if you don't have a press release, most likely they will get their facts wrong because they're rushed and they get facts wrong all the time, right? So press release is really crucial, and having that written in a newsworthy way is essential. Photos or visuals, you need something exciting to go with your press release, and then you need to pitch it effectively. And you've only got 45 seconds to get your pitch across. So it needs to be a snappy angle for the pitch. Then also look at what are you passionate about. Now, we mentioned good news I'm really passionate about and inspiring animal action. What are you passionate about that you can align your business with, or something you're doing with that cause to actually bring a social consciousness to what you do? You know, I love working with people with social consciousness, with the social conscious, right? I love working with people like that who are out to make a difference in the world. And I think, you know, really life is sharing, and I think there's a lot of joy in giving to others and in creating a better world with what we do. And making a difference in these areas. And the media love to also report on anything that is socially conscious. So it's another way you can increase your media coverage as well. So here's 9 media angles now that different ways you can go about getting your media out. So first thing is you can have a unique solution for something that's already out there. Second is an award angle. If you've won any awards whatsoever, there's an angle you can present to media. Third is controversy. How can you present some controversy in what you're talking about? Because the media love stories that get people talking. New statistics are fantastic as well, and Australian Bureau of Statistics is a great place to go for that. Current commentary. Where can you comment on something that's already in the news and add an angle to that? So, for example, right now the fires are huge, right? The bushfires in New South Wales and Queensland are massive. So what could you do right now to maybe help gather some items or get the community together to provide some resources to help those people or the animals that have been affected by the bushfires, for example? You could be the underdog in an issue. You could have a hero angle, 0 to hero angle, where you've overcome something.
Sorry, Aldwyn, I'm just double checking. We've still got just a bird picture. Are you going through any slides on your end?
Yes, I am. I am going through slides. It's not showing?
No. So
okay.
Everyone's,
right.
So we're all still stuck on the bird picture.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me just maybe escape and then go back into it again, see if that helps. Can you see this now? I've just minimized the screen.
And I've still got bird picture.
Okay. Let me go back.
Thanks, Shaz, for letting us know.
Okay, I'm on the 9 media angles one, which is after the bird picture at the moment. I've just minimized the screen. Could be the internet situation again. You can hear me all right, which is good.
We can hear you, so that's great.
And my tethering's on. It looks like everything's working.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let me just maybe refresh my internet. Okay, it could be just internet issue. Okay, let's see this. Can you see the, okay, so after the bird picture, it went to package it up, press release, photos, pitch. Can you see that now? Just minimize the screen.
No, we've still got bird picture. So just explaining to everyone, Aldwyn's not actually in her office because she's at a conference, and she's come out of the conference because we booked this in. So far in advance, and so she's just sort of operating out of a room in this building. So that's probably okay.
Yes. So I'll stop the share and I'll share again, and we'll see if this works. Okay. So can you see that now?
Yes,
package it up.
on.
Okay, great. All right, so I'll make that bigger. And sometimes in slideshow mode too, it can slow things down. Can you see that all right? Package it up. Perfect. So after the bird picture, that was the bird picture?
Yes.
Right. Okay, good. Excellent. All right, so we'll go past that. Okay, so the next thing I mentioned was press release, photos, and pitch. That's what that slide looked like.
Perfect.
Can you all see that? Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, great. And then what are you passionate about? And then I showed this slide. So what are you passionate about, and how can you tie in what you're doing with what you're passionate about? So for me, it's good news and inspiring action for animals. And then we're up to the 9 media angles. Is that all coming through okay?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so these are the 9 angles. So we had the underdog, the hero angle, picture opportunities. So visuals are really, really important with any media, with TV, also with radio, because a lot of their stories are going online as well. So visuals are very important for all media now. And celebrity angle. Now, how could you get a celebrity to support your cause, or what charity could you align with that already has a celebrity supporting it that you could use in your marketing? So there's an example of 9 media angles. I'm going to go through some examples here. Now, this is Dean Vegas ran for mayor on the Gold Coast. And Dean Vegas is the world's best Elvis impersonator. And we've got the start of a press release here. We've got a snappy headline for the press release. Press release is basically one A4 page document. You need the who, what, where, when, why, all in the introduction. You need to get to the point quickly, because if you don't have your main points in the start of your press release, the journalist will not read on. Now the visuals, you can see we've got one corporate looking Dean running for mayor, looking very official. And then we have the Elvis mayor there, the Elvis version of the mayor, right? Now what this press release was saying, that if Dean Vegas made it in as mayor, he was going to stop performing as Elvis. Now, while he did amazingly with his campaign, and this press release went out, and we had a packed event for his launch, packed event, we had TV, radio, print there. It was an amazing event, and he did phenomenally on a very low budget with his campaign. While he didn't make it in as mayor, he has actually been booked solid as Elvis ever since. So there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? The second step to publicity is platform. So where are you going to go out with your media? Once you have your press release, your visuals, you know how to pitch it effectively, which is really getting straight to the point with your pitch. I don't have a lot of time to go through in detail on that. I'll skim over this and give you as much as I can in the next 10 minutes or so. Platforms, you want to go to specific TV shows, specific radio shows, magazine, newspaper, feature sections. Where do you want to go with your publicity? TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, or which online mass media channels would you like to go to? And you start putting a list of those together, and you can target your message to the right media. It's also great to ask your clients what sort of media are they actually consuming right now. What sort of blogs, what sort of magazines, radio shows, what are they loving to watch or listen to? And often your clients are often very similar to yourself, so it might be the same kinds of media that you are consuming right now. Now, the opportunity is huge. Now, this is a slide on how many media outlets there are just in Australia alone. It's absolutely huge. We have about 1 in 4 people accessing pay TV or free TV. We have 274 commercial and 341 community radio stations just in Australia alone. Newspapers, 470 regional suburban papers. We have heaps of papers, and the most exciting one for me is 1,600 magazines published. Can you believe it? 1,600 magazines just in Australia alone. So you can just imagine how much opportunity there is for yourself to get publicity, considering all the media out there looking for stories every single day. Where do you want to go? TV or radio? Newspapers is some of the stories we had on the animal action events. You can see the visuals are really colourful. They stand out. We've had a lot of front page stories, a lot of TV coverage, radio coverage over the years for the different animal events we've done. You can see Dean Vegas up there on the left. That was when we did a fundraiser for the Animal Welfare League. Our very first event, we had a clown picture there. So you need photos that are relevant to what you're doing and colourful. Here's an example of a dating agency that wanted to target her business to more business people. So this is Tu's company, Tracy Corman, who has actually now become a very dear friend of mine, and we actually do a comedy act together called The Fiddly Gigglers, believe it or not, nowadays. But once upon a time, she wanted to get more business clients. So we put a story out in Business Acumen magazine. And the angle of the story was Tu's company warns singles to be careful of shonky dating agencies. And so there's a lovely half-page story. It talks about the charities she's helped, the number of weddings that have come out of her business, a lovely link to her website at the end. Now, if she paid for an ad, that's $2,000 it would have been for an ad. Publicity value times 5, that's $10,000 worth of free publicity with a half-page story in Business Acumen magazine. Now, if she wanted to go out to, say, Women's Weekly, she could put out an angle saying 5 ways to find your soulmate, for example. And that would be a great angle for a publication like that. So you can tweak your angles for different types of media depending on what the angle is, what they're looking for. Here's what we call a unique angle, unique solution to something. Now, Alan Coulton here, he came to me, this guy from Brisbane, you can see on the left, he came to me wanting to increase his clients. He wanted to get media coverage. He had no idea how to do it. This is the photo I took of him out in the yard. Now, he has a product called Root Barrier, which is basically a huge plastic barrier that you put around a house and stops the tree roots from coming under the house and cracking the foundation of the house. And at the time, you know, global warming was a big issue. The Al Gore film In Inconvenient Truth had just come out. And so the unique angle we had here on protecting the environment was actually these root barriers. We're saying to save trees and protect buildings. So it was a unique solution to global warming. And there's another great unique solution I saw recently. If you have a whole lot of rats or mice at your place, there's actually natural ways that you can eradicate mice from your place if you don't want them, you know, chewing your cords, etc. And there's a certain, like a tea bag, a scent that you can put in these tea bags, certain product that's environmentally friendly, and it doesn't affect the rats. It just makes them go away from your house because they don't like the smell of this particular product. And so that's a way you don't have to, you know, kill mice inhumanely, etc. So there's different unique solutions you can do, and it's a great angle for media. And that particular mice angle, that story went out all over TV overseas. It was huge. And this is what happened with Alan Coulton here. He's had a 4-page spread to his ideal clients in Australian Horticulture magazine. Now, if he paid for advertising, that's $16,000 it would have cost him for 4 pages of ads. Publicity value, times it by 5 for today, is $80,000 worth of free publicity. More than that, though, because his ideal clients were reading Australian Horticulture magazine, he got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of extra business for himself as a result of appearing in this magazine and being known as the expert. So it was absolutely huge for him. I would say he got 100 times return value on the PR with this particular campaign. The third step to publicity is profit. How do you then maximize your PR once you get it? So you want to be getting clippings, for example, get photos of yourself in the media, make sure that you put them on your social media, put them on your website, tag back to the media. There's a whole lot you can do there. Aussie Mega Mall, for example, that's one company I worked with. They've 10 times increased their business in the last 3 years with the media work we did. They're a completely online business. They have stores online. When they came to me in 2016, they had 875,000 products in 3,500 stores, and now they've got 8 million products and 32,000 stores online. So all having the power of that credibility of publicity and reaching the number of people that they've reached, they've been able to 10 times their business. And now they're going to be launching into New Zealand, in the US, they're doing UK Mega Mall. So it's a very exciting growth for this business, and media was absolutely crucial for them to enable that to happen, for people to have trust to invest in the online business. This is Peter Turner. He's a local filmmaker on the Gold Coast. Just one story in the local paper led to a $200,000 funding offer for Peter Turner. Literally one phone call. And this one we use the celebrity angle, which is this here. So we had a celebrity in the studio here, Home and Away star Silvio Offrio. He's not even a huge star, but he was in Home and Away, and he was on the Gold Coast for this film production. And the Bulletin local paper came out, did this amazing spread, 3/4 page spread, lovely, positive, good news story. Soap star awash with enthusiasm for Coast Crime Drama Dream. Fantastic story there. This is Justin Kelly, had packed seminar through just one article, amazing what happened with him, and he consistently had new clients and business for more than 6 months. He'd often have to book second seminars because of the amount of PR that he got just using a local newspapers. Amazing result for him. This is Claire Flynn. She's a relationships and intimacy coach. We put an angle out here for Newland magazine. Happy relationships lead to successful businesses. So she wanted more business clients as well. Great story here. Look at how you can help people with what you do as well, which is what she did here. And what happened from that story, she got asked to speak at an event in front of 450 of her ideal clients. She had more inquiries and leads on a website. She went from making 1,000 a week to 2,000 a week in a business, and then she doubled that again. And nowadays she's living over in America, having the time of her life. This is Paul Herman, who is fighting bank fraud. Now, he's a property investor, and he realised with some of his loan documents that the bank had fraudulently altered some of his documentation, and he went out on a current affair, Gold Coast Bulletin, ABC, 2GB. He's created a big following now, actually doing this, fighting bank fraud. It's amazing as one individual how you can take on the big guys and make a difference and reach literally millions of people with your message. Stephen Esser, he was actually voted world's best public speaker at the World Internet Summit. He was incredibly nervous when it came to getting on TV. And we did a bit of media training together. We were told we had a 3 to 5 minute interview spot for Sky News Business TV. After the training I did with him, we ended up with a 6-minute spot on TV. If a 30-second ad costs up to $25,000, 6 minutes of advertising would have cost him $300,000. Publicity value, as we mentioned before, times 5, that's $1.5 million worth of free publicity by just one TV spot. And now forever, in his marketing, Stephen Esser has as seen on TV in his marketing, being an online marketer. It's incredibly powerful. You only have to appear once, and you'll be able to leverage off that for the rest of your life with your marketing. It's amazing. Then celebrate your success. As I mentioned, you want to be able to grab the press clippings, the MP3s, TV coverage, and share it all over the mass media with your social media. This is Pete Nichols from Local Tay Australia, I worked with a few years ago. And you want to definitely maximise that and make sure that people see that on your social media and in other media. There's a whole lot of different strategies around how you can maximise the profit. That's just a few ideas for you. And celebrate and watch how your credibility and cash flow grows. There's a whole lot of PR distribution sites out there too to help you get your message out. These are just some of them. There's a million of them out there. Some of them charge per email. Some of them charge per contact list, etc. But a lot of them are often out of date because journalists move around so often. So I've actually ended up creating my own media list nowadays and building connections with journalists. One of those I would highly recommend, a place to go to, is Source Bottle. It's a fantastic place where you get media opportunities. Often journalists put their media opportunities on there, and you can pitch your stories directly to journalists through Source Bottle. Here's an example of a women's empowerment coach that I worked with called Michelle Patterson on the Gold Coast, and we put a press release out saying coach empowers women who underwent forced adoptions. Now we had a little bit of impact with that. Then we changed it slightly to this one. Mother opens up on secret forced adoption after 30 years. And we were inundated with requests for this story. And what happened is Women's Day ended up doing an exclusive story. They paid thousands of dollars for this story. They sent a hair and makeup person to the Gold Coast. They sent a photographer from Sydney. And these are behind the scenes photos that I took of Michelle at her unit in Labrador on the Gold Coast. And these are all behind the scenes photos, Women's Day exclusive. And this is what happened. A full page ad in Women's Day is $60,000, or 2 pages, $60,000 is what it would have cost her for advertising times, a publicity value by $300,000. It was also mentioned on the front cover of the magazine, and it reached 1.6 million readers. Now, the beauty of this too is in the second paragraph, it actually has her website leading straight to her business. So there she's sharing her personal story, and it's fantastic coverage for her business as well. This is Keurig Ashley, the last example I'll give you here today. This is a zero to hero angle. This is a photo I took of Keurig on the Sunshine Coast, and he was once $20 away from being broke, and he always wanted to be on Oprah. And interestingly, this story was held over in Excel magazine from 1 month to the next, and a 4-page spread on him, this is the second page, actually appeared in a publication where Oprah was on the cover of the magazine. So how's that for manifestation? So now Oprah is reading a 4-page feature story on a Sunshine Coast success coach. He was absolutely blown away. Kurek was over the moon about this story. The world really is your oyster. I went through that very fast. I can talk quite fast. Hopefully you kept up with me. Now I do have a gift for you. If it's okay, I'd love to share that with you. My gift is 15 crucial steps to gain free publicity. I have some extra special steps for you. 15 crucial steps to gain free publicity. And if you would like that gift, all you need to do is join Mass Media Tribe, the Facebook group, and just comment webinar offer and put your email address in there and I'll send that out to you. So join Mass Media Tribe Facebook group and comment webinar offer and email address, which actually once you join the Mass Media Tribe, it will ask for your email address anyway. So just put webinar offer and make sure you put your email address in there. Answer those 2 questions that come up when you go to join Mass Media Tribe on Facebook. And then just put webinar offer. Just comment webinar offer or anything else you want to say about what you've learned maybe from this webinar in Mass Media Tribe. But make sure you have webinar offer at the beginning so we can see that, and then that way I'll know you were on the webinar, and we'll get those 15 crucial steps to free publicity out to you. I also have some upcoming events coming up. This one's December 19 for anyone around the Gold Coast, Quality Hotel Mermaid Waters. I've got my full half-day workshop. I go into a lot more detail on how to gain free publicity, and we'll look at your personal stories as well. And that's the next one I'm doing is December 19. I'm actually off to the US for a month on Friday morning. It's been a crazy whirlwind this year. In the last 10 days, I've been touring Australia with Almithia. And then I come back and I'm doing 3 events in 2 days. So at December 19, we've got the workshop, how to gain $1 million worth of free publicity workshop, and the Mass Media Tribe meetup event. And the following day, we have the Gold Coast Business Laughter Club, which is a full charity event I put on. We've got a whole lot of comedians are going to be coming, and we raise funds for the homeless and for animals with that. Vinnie's CEO Sleep Out, and also Land of the Free to help end trophy hunting of endangered animals. So there are 2 events coming up. So another offer I'd like to give you as an extra added bonus is a 2-for-1 offer. So if you just hop on, you'll see that on Mass Media Tribe. They're very low cost events anyway, but a 2-for-1 offer I can give you as well here if you want to come to those. And this is really what it's all about, shining bright. Now, I believe in the power of one, and I believe in you. May your flame burn bright and light up all those around you. The world is your oyster, as I said, and I urge you to share your message, shine bright, light up those around you, and make the difference that only you are here to make in the world. And that's it. That's the end of my presentation, and it's right on 1 o'clock.
You've done such a magic presentation. I can't begin to thank you enough. Aldwyn, that's just brilliant. I'm just wondering if your assistant has managed to join and she can put the link up to your group so people can click and go straight there. But if she isn't...
if she isn't, I'll pop it in there now in case she isn't.
So we've just...
So that should be... Is that not sharing now again? I've stopped the sharing, I think.
Yeah, well, you stopped sharing, but you're going to pop it in the chat box.
Yes, I'll pop it in now.
Okay, great.
I'm just going now. I'll just have to launch. There's my video back again. Hello.
We're back again. Oh, my word. I'm feeling all inspired and invigorated and sitting on the edge of like, oh my goodness, this sounds too hard to do by myself. Do I need some help? Aldwyn, I'm probably throwing this at you probably last minute, but do you travel ever to do your half-day workshops? Because Townsville's only 18 hours drive north, or
yes,
an hour and 40 minutes if you're flying.
Yeah, actually, yes.
I'm sowing the seed,
yes,
because we do live in a regional town, and we don't get a lot traveling north, and so I use my webinars to speak to people who do live away, but then I always sort of put that seed and say, well, we have a Townsville community, and perhaps if you are planning anything, can you please not leave us off your list?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've done the workshops in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and I was actually thinking next year to come up north. I used to live in Mackay.
Now we're dropping out with your sound, so I don't know. Just lost Aldwyn's sound and her vision, but I think from there what she was trying to say is that she would love to come and visit us up north next year. So I will let my tribe know about any of those dates, and I'm not sure what's happening on her end. But in the meantime, look, we've got a link immediately to her group. So if you want to get any of those freebies, please hop on and click on that link and it'll take you directly to her Facebook group. The other thing I might do is, you know, if you want to just pop some, do you have any questions? Because if you have any questions, pop them in the chat box now and hopefully we can address them if we get Aldwyn back. And if we don't get her back, perhaps we could just do a Facebook Live and answer those questions then. So just having a look if there's any questions. Yeah, I can't, thank you. It looks like she's muted. I keep clicking there to unmute her, and so it must be muted on her end, not on mine, because I click on to unmute and it won't work and she's frozen. So I know that we did only ask for an hour of her time, so perhaps, you know, that's our hour up and she might hop back in. Here she comes. Ask to start video. So any questions to Aldwyn to ask anything about the PR, to check in about your statements? Thanks, Diane. We'll see you later. Okay, super. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today. It's been absolutely glorious listening to Aldwyn and joining. Sorry, I am distracted as I keep trying to click back on and see if I can get her back on, but it's not coming in. We are going to wrap this up and say a huge thank you to Aldwyn, a huge thank you to all of you who have registered today and joined us and spent time with us. Oh, Aldwyn, we've got you back.
Hello, sorry about that. My data limit exceeded. Can you believe it? I've got 15 gig of data for the month and it's all gone.
I can believe it, because when I'm using Zoom on my phone, it seems to use my data up at a rapid rate.
Right. And I do a lot of Facebook Lives, so I'd say I've been doing a lot of that this month.
Yeah, the Facebook Lives use less than Zoom. And you've been on here for an hour and you've been presenting. So, and you've been sharing all your stuff, your digital, you know, stuff. So just checking if anyone's got any questions in the chat box. There's a lot of thank yous there to you. Aldwyn, I really appreciate the time that you've given us. What I really do value is also your generosity, the energy with which you exude everything, and your elevation of all the feel good and positive stuff that there is. I really value the fact that you are encouraging people to get out there and share their message and giving us tools and ways in which to do it. So with your offerings of joining your Facebook group, you'll be able to access your freebies within that. And if you are planning on a Townsville trip, which please keep us in mind, because certainly the community here is always asking for more.
Yes, I'd love to. I love the Strand. I used to live in Mackay, as I was saying earlier, so I would love to come up there. I love North Queensland, love the tropics. My favourite place in the world up there.
Oh, fabulous.
Other than the Gold Coast. Other than the Gold Coast.
Yes, it's a little bit
of the stingers.
Yeah, it's a little bit stingers and crocodiles and tiger sharks, you know.
Yes. Yeah, but apart from that, it's fantastic. I love it.
Absolutely, yes. So we'd love to have you come north. If you do, please let us know, and so I can let my tribe know. Much gratitude to you for all that you do, and for all that you've done today and all that you've gifted as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Shine bright and light up all those around you. Thank you.
Super. Thank you to everyone who's been here today. Thank you. Bye-bye.